In the distant reaches of the galaxy, an ancient and sprawling council governs, composed of dozens of powerful alien species. For millennia, they've ruled with an iron grip, dictating the development of lesser species and ensuring their own dominance. Humanity, though once seen as a primitive race, has managed to find a foothold in this galaxy. The Terran Empire, despite the Council's restrictions, has quietly grown into something far more formidable than the Council could ever imagine. The Galactic Council, however, has remained ignorant of humanity's rise. They continue to view humans as insignificant, useful for labor, trading resources, but never a real threat. For centuries, the Council has enforced strict limitations on humanity's technological progress, ensuring they remain in check. But the Terran Empire, led by a vision that the Council has severely underestimated, has adhered to these restrictions only on the surface. Beneath, humanity has been preparing, waiting for the right moment. The day comes when the Galactic Council finally issues their ultimatum. A group of emissaries, representing some of the most powerful species in the galaxy, lands on Terra. They carry with them a decree, backed by the full force of the Council. The ultimatum is simple: humanity must dismantle its military forces, halt all further expansion, and revert to a more manageable state of being. The Council claims this move is for the greater good of galactic peace, but the message is clear: they see humanity's growing strength as a direct threat to their established order. Inside the Grand Hall of Terra, the emissaries expect nothing less than full submission. After all, no other species has dared defy the Council before. The assembled Terran leaders are silent as the emissaries read the terms, their alien voices dripping with condescension. The message is followed by a threat: non-compliance will be met with total eradication. But the Terran Emperor does not flinch. A tall, calm figure known for his strategic mind, he listens intently as the ultimatum is delivered. When the emissaries finish, silence lingers in the hall. The air is tense. Finally, with a voice steady and deliberate, the Emperor responds with a single word: "No." The emissaries are stunned, though they quickly hide their surprise. The Council had never expected such open defiance from humanity. They remind the Emperor of the Council's power, of the hundreds of fleets under their command, of the countless species who have fallen in line before them. But the Emperor is unmoved. He doesn't need to explain. The message is clear: humanity will no longer live under the Council's thumb. The emissaries leave in a huff, still convinced that humanity's defiance will be short-lived. They see the Terrans as nothing more than upstarts, a young species incapable of truly challenging the might of the Council. After all, the Council has crushed rebellions before. Humanity will be no different. But behind the scenes, the Terran Empire has been preparing for this very moment. For years, they've been quietly building a military force far beyond what the Council suspects. Their warships, equipped with advanced AI and cutting-edge technology, are a generation ahead of anything the Council has in their fleet. Humanity's scientists have developed weapons that the Council's complacent species could never dream of. FTL travel, once thought to be at its pinnacle, has been revolutionized by the Terrans. They can now outmaneuver any fleet in the galaxy. The Emperor's refusal isn't a reckless act of defiance. It's the culmination of years of planning, the result of humanity's quiet ascent to power. The Council believes it still holds the upper hand, but the truth is that they are walking into a trap of their own making. They have given humanity the excuse it needed to strike, and the Terran Empire is ready. Within days of the emissaries' departure, the Terran fleets begin mobilizing. Commanders and soldiers alike know that this is the moment they've been waiting for. No longer confined by the Council's laws, humanity can finally show its true strength. Across Terra and its allied colonies, the people prepare for war, not with fear, but with a quiet, burning resolve. They know the Council underestimates them, and that arrogance will be their undoing. On the fringes of Council space, Terran forces gather. Sleek warships, armed to the teeth with experimental weaponry, stand poised for battle. But this isn't just a military operation, this is humanity's declaration of independence. The Terran Empire will not stop until the Galactic Council is dismantled, its grip on the galaxy broken. And so, as the Council prepares to respond to humanity's defiance, they remain blind to the storm that is about to engulf them. Their arrogance, their centuries of dominance, have lulled them into a false sense of security. They believe they can subdue humanity like any other rebellious species, but the Terran Empire is unlike anything the galaxy has seen before. The Council's ultimatum was meant to break humanity's will. Instead, it has ignited a fire that will soon consume them. The Galactic Council has no idea what's coming. The Galactic Council, despite their confidence, receives the Emperor's refusal with mild irritation. They're accustomed to lesser species bowing to their authority without question. After all, they've held dominion over the galaxy for centuries, wielding control over resources, technology, and diplomacy. In their eyes, humanity is just another species that needs to be reminded of its place. A defiant one, perhaps, but nothing they can handle. Back at the Council's Central Command, the emissaries report humanity's bold rejection. The Council listens, but the reaction is far from alarm. They consider it a trivial matter. The ancient and powerful alien species that make up the Council have never encountered true opposition, certainly not from a species as young as humanity. Some Council members chuckle, dismissing the Emperor's "no" as a futile gesture of pride. They believe that, as with other defiant species, a show of overwhelming force will bring humanity back in line. Immediately, the Council begins mobilizing its fleets. These are the largest armadas in the galaxy, composed of the best ships and warriors from countless systems. The Council's fleets have crushed uprisings before, and they expect the same result here. As preparations are made, messages are sent across the galaxy, warning other species of humanity's disobedience. The Council is so certain of its superiority that they see the Terran Empire as nothing more than a distraction, a minor conflict that will be quickly resolved. What they don't know is that humanity is far from being a minor threat. While the Council mobilizes, humanity's forces are already prepared. The Terran fleets, sleek and silent, have been strategically positioned at the edges of Council space. They've been waiting for this moment, fully aware of how the Council would react. Every move the Council makes, humanity has already anticipated. The difference between the two is stark. While the Council relies on sheer numbers and the weight of tradition, humanity has evolved to adapt and innovate. For years they've studied the Council's tactics, learning from their mistakes, biding their time. Their ships may be fewer in number, but they are far more advanced. AI-controlled systems allow for precision and speed that the Council fleets can match. Human scientists have perfected FTL travel, allowing their ships to strike and retreat with devastating efficiency. The Council has grown complacent over centuries of easy victories, but humanity is different. Their will to survive, to fight for freedom, has given them an edge that no other species has had. The Terran Empire's commanders are strategic masterminds, each one chosen for their ability to think beyond conventional tactics. The Council doesn't realize it, but they've already lost the strategic advantage. As the Council's armada moves into position, they remain blissfully unaware of the trap being set. The Terran fleets, though smaller, are faster, smarter, and more lethal. In one of the first encounters, a Council fleet of massive warships converges on what they believe to be a vulnerable Terran outpost. But instead of a quick victory, they find themselves ambushed by a fleet that seems to be everywhere at once. Terran warships, using their advanced FTL systems, strike from multiple angles, attacking weak points in the Council's formations with surgical precision. The battle is over before it begins. The Council fleet, overwhelmed and disoriented, suffers catastrophic losses. Their ships are too slow, their weapons too outdated to counter the rapid strikes of the Terran fleet. By the time they attempt to retreat, it's too late. What remains of the once mighty armada limps back to Council space, a shadow of its former strength. Word of the defeat spreads quickly. The Council is stunned. Never before have they suffered such a loss, especially at the hands of a species they considered inferior. The pride of the Council is wounded, but even now, they refuse to acknowledge the real threat humanity poses. Instead of reassessing their strategy, they double down. The Council calls for more ships, more soldiers, determined to overwhelm humanity with brute force. But humanity isn't playing by the Council's rules. Every move the Council makes, the Terran Empire counters with ingenuity. The Terran fleets continue to strike key targets across Council space, disabling infrastructure, disrupting supply lines, and crippling the Council's ability to respond. Each strike is meticulously planned, each victory a testament to humanity's superior tactics. The Council, used to fighting traditional wars of attrition, can't keep up with the speed and precision of the Terran forces. At the same time, within the Council's ranks, cracks begin to form. Some of the member species, watching the Terran Empire's rise, begin to question their leaders. They've seen the losses, the failures, and they realize that the Council may not be as invincible as it once seemed. Quietly, a few factions start to consider alternatives, perhaps siding with humanity, or at least staying out of the conflict altogether, could be more beneficial to their survival. But the ruling members of the Council are blinded by their arrogance. They refuse to believe that a species like humanity could ever truly challenge their authority. They continue to pour resources into the war effort, believing that eventually, they will overwhelm the Terran Empire through sheer numbers. Humanity, however, has no intention of engaging in a drawn-out war. Their strategy is simple: strike fast, hit hard, and cripple the Council's ability to fight back. And it's working. For every fleet the Council sends, humanity counters with advanced tactics and superior technology. The Council, stuck in their traditional ways, can't adapt quickly enough. The galaxy watches as the war unfolds, and for the first time in centuries, the Council's power is in question. Humanity's defiance has sparked something that the Council never anticipated, a challenge to their rule. And as the Terran Empire's victories mount, the balance of power begins to shift. The Council's mistake was believing that they could suppress humanity with the same methods they've used for centuries. But humanity, with its relentless drive and unparalleled ingenuity, has proven them wrong. The Council may have the numbers, but humanity has the will to fight, and the intelligence to win. The Galactic Council is beginning to realize that they've underestimated humanity. And now, the Terran Empire is ready to take the fight to them. The first reports of catastrophic losses begin to reach the Galactic Council. Incredulity turns into frustration, then outright panic. The Council, which had never imagined humanity as a legitimate threat, now faces the harsh reality: they are losing. Entire fleets, dispatched with the intention of bringing the Terran Empire to its knees, have been destroyed or forced into retreat. What was supposed to be a show of overwhelming force has turned into a humiliating disaster. For the first time in centuries, the Council finds itself on the defensive. Commanders scramble to understand how a species they once considered inferior could strike with such precision and ferocity. The Council's traditional methods of warfare, reliant on sheer numbers and brute strength, are failing against humanity's relentless adaptability and advanced technology. In their arrogance, they never anticipated a scenario where they would need to outthink their enemy. Now, that oversight is proving fatal. As news of the defeats spread, it becomes clear that the Council's hold on the galaxy is slipping. What were once whispers of discontent among the Council's member species have grown into open conversations. Factions within the Council, seeing their fleets decimated and their influence fading, begin to question their leaders. Some even suggest opening peace talks with humanity, hoping to avoid total ruin. But the Council's ruling species, proud and stubborn, refuse to entertain the idea. They double down, vowing to crush humanity by any means necessary. The Terran Empire, on the other hand, is far from complacent. Despite their victories, they understand that the Council still has vast resources and fleets at its disposal. Humanity's leadership knows that the war is far from over, and complacency could spell disaster. The strategy remains the same: strike fast, strike hard, and continue to destabilize the Council's infrastructure. As more Council worlds fall under Terran attack, it becomes clear that the Empire's military is not just powerful, it is surgical. Human fleets, equipped with the latest AI-driven technology, can adjust to new battle conditions in real time, learning from every engagement. Terran commanders use tactics the Council has never encountered before, exploiting weaknesses in ways their rigid structures never anticipated. Council fleets, designed to overpower enemies through sheer force, are being torn apart by the Terrans' hit-and-run tactics and overwhelming precision. It's not just the Council's fleets that are under attack. The Terran Empire has launched strikes on key production facilities, military outposts, and communication hubs across Council space. The Council, used to fighting slow, drawn-out wars, is unprepared for this level of coordinated, high-speed warfare. Their ability to respond is crippled as resources are drained and their command structure is thrown into chaos. The galaxy is watching, and as the Council's losses mount, more and more species begin to lose faith in the Council's leadership. Some start to openly question their allegiance. A few minor factions, long unhappy with the Council's oppressive rule, quietly reach out to humanity, offering their support in exchange for protection once the dust settles. Others simply remain neutral, unwilling to be dragged into a war they're not certain the Council can win. Humanity's rise has become a symbol for those who have suffered under the Council's authoritarian rule. To many species, the Terran Empire represents something new, a force that refuses to be controlled, that fights back against the oppression the Council has used to keep its member species in line. For the first time in centuries, there is hope that the old order might be shattered. Still, there are those within the Council who refuse to accept the reality of their situation. These factions argue that the Council is too vast, too powerful to be defeated by a single species, no matter how advanced or determined. They insist that with enough force, with enough ships, humanity can still be crushed. But even as they make these arguments, the Council's fleets continue to fall, and the Empire continues its march deeper into Council space. The tipping point comes when a major Council stronghold, thought to be impregnable, is destroyed in a surprise Terran offensive. The planet, a hub of military and political power, is decimated by a Terran fleet using technology the Council had never seen before, stealth systems that allowed the fleet to bypass planetary defenses undetected, and weapons capable of shattering shields once thought impenetrable. The loss is devastating, both strategically and psychologically. This defeat sends shockwaves through the Council. For the first time, it dawns on them that their very survival is at stake. The war is no longer just about suppressing a defiant species, it's about the survival of their regime. But the Terran Empire has no interest in negotiation or compromise. Humanity's leaders know they have the upper hand, and they intend to press the advantage. Amid the Council's growing disarray, internal conflicts flare up. Some factions want to continue fighting, believing that a last-ditch, full-scale assault could still turn the tide. Others advocate for surrender, fearing that further resistance will only hasten the Council's destruction. But the ruling members of the Council remain divided, unable to agree on a unified course of action. Their centuries of dominance have made them incapable of dealing with a threat of this magnitude. Meanwhile, the Terran Empire is already preparing for its next move. Humanity has realized that the Council is not the monolithic force it once appeared to be. The cracks are showing, and now it's only a matter of time before the entire system collapses. For every Council world that falls, for every fleet that is destroyed, humanity's position grows stronger. The galaxy, once thought to be firmly under the Council's control, is rapidly slipping away. The Council's greatest strength, its sheer size and power, has become its greatest weakness. Unable to adapt, crippled by internal strife, and outmatched at every turn, the Council finds itself on the brink of collapse. Their armies, their fleets, their entire way of life are being dismantled piece by piece, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Humanity's rise has become inevitable. The Terran Empire, once dismissed as a minor player, is now the dominant force in the galaxy. And the Council, once the unchallenged rulers of the stars, are now fighting for survival in a war they never saw coming. The Terran Empire has reached the moment it has been building towards for decades. After countless victories, the path to the heart of the Galactic Council is clear. Humanity has shattered the Council's fleets, dismantled its defenses, and exposed its weaknesses. Now, the Terran Emperor prepares to deliver the final blow, a strike that will end the centuries-long dominance of the Galactic Council and usher in a new era. Operation Revelation is set in motion. This is not just another battle, this is a coordinated, precise, and devastating strike at the very core of the Council's power. The target is the Council's homeworld, a planet that has long been considered untouchable, protected by layers of defense systems and fleets stationed nearby. But those defenses, once thought impregnable, are no match for the technology and tactics humanity has developed. Humanity's forces, led by elite commanders and enhanced by AI, are prepared for the mission. The stealth systems they've perfected over the years allow them to bypass the Council's final layers of defense undetected. The ships move with silent precision, slipping through sensors and barriers that no other species could hope to penetrate. As they close in on the Council's homeworld, the realization begins to sink in among the Council's leaders. They are about to face the same fate as the fleets they sent into Terran space. Within hours, humanity's forces breach the planet's defenses. Key military installations are taken down in coordinated strikes, and the Council's defense systems crumble. Panic erupts among the ruling species. For the first time in their long history, they are experiencing the terror of an enemy striking at their doorstep, and they are completely unprepared for it. The Council chambers, once a place of absolute authority, are now filled with fear and desperation. The rulers, who once believed in their own invincibility, now realize that their power is slipping away. They call for reinforcements, but none come. The fleets that were once at their disposal have been decimated, scattered across the galaxy in the vain hope of stopping the Terran advance. Now they are truly alone. As the Terran forces land, they encounter little resistance. What few troops remain are quickly overwhelmed by the superior tactics and technology of the Terran soldiers. The Council leaders, realizing that there is no escape, try to negotiate. But humanity is not here for negotiations. The time for that has long passed. In the final moments of the invasion, the Terran Emperor himself delivers a message to the Council. Surrender is no longer an option. Humanity will not accept the Council's terms, nor will it allow the old order to continue. The Emperor presents them with a new ultimatum: disband the Council, relinquish their power, or face total annihilation. The Council leaders, still reeling from the speed of their downfall, are left with no choice. They have seen their fleets destroyed, their strongholds taken, their people captured. They have no way to fight back, no means of defending themselves against the Terran forces that now surround them. One by one, the Council members agreed to the Emperor's terms. They officially disband the Galactic Council, ending centuries of rule in a single moment of defeat. The war is over. The Council, which once controlled the entire galaxy, has fallen. The news spreads quickly, across Council space. Species that have long lived under the Council's rule hear of the defeat. For some, it is a moment of liberation. For others, it is the end of an era. But for all, it is clear, the Terran Empire now stands as the dominant power in the galaxy. In the aftermath of the Council's collapse, humanity begins to solidify its control. Some species, recognizing the strength and resolve of the Terran Empire, choose to align themselves with the new rulers. Others, more resistant to change, attempt to rise up in rebellion, but these uprisings are swiftly put down by the Terran forces. The galaxy, once fragmented and ruled by the arrogance of the Council, is now united under the Terran banner. But the Terran Empire does not seek to recreate the old order. Humanity's leadership, having seen the failures of the Council, is determined to build something different. The Emperor's vision is one of stability and order, but without the tyranny that the Council imposed. Humanity offers protection to those who align with them, and for the first time in centuries, many species begin to feel hope for a future free of oppression. As humanity consolidates its power, the remnants of the Council fade into obscurity. The once powerful species that ruled the galaxy now find themselves in a position they never imagined, powerless, subject to the will of the Terran Empire. Some adapt, finding a new place within the galaxy's new hierarchy. Others resist, unable to accept the loss of their former status. But in the end, it makes no difference. The galaxy has changed, and there is no going back. The story ends with the Terran Emperor standing on the balcony of what was once the Council's ruling palace, now a symbol of humanity's triumph. The stars stretch out before him, a galaxy that is no longer ruled by the old order. It is a galaxy shaped by the will and determination of humanity, a species that refused to be controlled, that defied the odds and rose to power against all expectations. In this new era, humanity is no longer the underdog. They are the rulers, the protectors, and the leaders of the galaxy. The Council's downfall is a testament to the strength and resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even the most powerful regimes can fall when they underestimate those they seek to suppress. And as the Emperor gazes out at the stars, he knows that this is just the beginning. The galaxy is theirs now, and with the fall of the Council, humanity has secured its place as the dominant force in the universe. The Terran Empire will reign, not through fear or oppression, but through the strength that brought them victory. And as the last remnants of the old order fade into history, the galaxy looks to the future, a future where humanity leads the way, unstoppable, unchallenged, and unyielding.